Got my trusty timer again. When it goes off, it's going to give me approximately an 11-minute video. I got to allow a couple minutes for cutting and mistakes. So today's video, I'm going to try to use other people's words to tell you who and what I'm voting for. Everybody thinks that Trump supporters like Donald Trump. Well, a lot of them don't like Donald Trump, but they're going to vote for him because he's got the best policies. So I'm not really that good with words per se. So I'm going to read 3 posters, or formerly called Twitter. And the final one is Ken Sorbo. He's an actor on Hercules show. He's originally from Mounds, Minnesota. It's hard to believe. The last segment is going to be his post on X. So let me get to the first one here. This one is from Paige. She's from Paige at Page and Pages. She writes, quote, "If you're hesitating to vote for President Trump as a person, please read this. That moment when someone says, 'I can't believe you would vote for Trump,' I simply reply, 'I'm not voting for Trump. I'm voting for the First Amendment and freedom of speech. I'm voting for the Second Amendment and the right to defend my life and family.' DC Morrow at Squeety Pie writes, 'I'm a woman according to God and my chromosomes. I'm 68. My husband is 69. We are both veterans of the Vietnam War. I love my country. I'm a proud MAGA patriot, mother to 5 hunting dogs and a spoiled Papillon. I love reading Gunther's SHT. I want our borders closed and illegals out. I worry every day about the mental health in our country. I stand with President Trump.'" And finally, at Kevin Sorbo, he's an American actor. He's a year younger than me. But he's a pretty good guy, and I liked him before I even knew his political stances. And I like this little meme here. It says, "The only immigrant liberals hate, they've been bashing Columbus, something terrible," including our little friend Kamala Harris has been bashing Columbus, something terrible. We'll get to that in another video. So what does Kevin Sorbo say? Kevin Sorbo posts, "I'm voting for the next Supreme Court justices to protect the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. I'm voting for the continued growth of my retirement and reducing inflation. I'm voting for a return of our troops from foreign countries and the end to America's involvement in foreign conflicts. I'm voting for the Electoral College and for the republic in which we live. I'm voting for the police to be respected and once again and to ensure law and order. I am tired of all the criminals and having a revolving door and being put back on the street. I'm voting for the continued appointment of federal judges who respect the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. I'm voting for keeping our jobs to remain in America and not to be outsourced all over the world to China, Mexico, and other foreign countries. I want USA made. I'm voting for secure borders and have legal immigration. I can't believe we have actually flown 380,000 illegal immigrants into our country. I am voting for doing away with all the freebies given to all the illegals and not looking after the needs of the American citizens. I'm voting for the military and the veterans who fought for this country to give their American people their freedoms. I'm voting for the military and the veterans who fought for this country to give American people their freedoms. I'm voting for the unborn babies that have a right to live. I'm voting for the peace progress in the Middle East. I'm voting to fight against human and child trafficking. I'm voting for freedom of religion. I'm voting for the right to speak my opinion and not be censored. I am voting for the return of teaching math, history, and science instead of indoctrination of our children and pronouns. I'm not just voting for one person. I'm voting for the future of my country. I'm voting for my children and my grandchildren and to ensure their freedoms and their future. Kevin Sorbo. Rebecca Ortiz replies to Pages and everybody else, quote, "Freedom of speech. Trump isn't for freedom of speech. He wants to shut down news corporations that report unfavorably about him or commit whatever made-up infractions he comes up with. He calls our press fake news, but then it gets cut off. This shows you the mindset of these people out there, or if you want to call them people, I call them humanoids. Trump has never been against freedom of speech. What Trump wants to do, he wants to expand the libel laws and slander laws and stop these people with their anonymous sources like Bob, anonymous source Woodward. He just come out with another book. Every election time he comes out with a book. And people buy it because he's still living. His one-trick pony was the Woodward-Bernstein claim of fame with Watergate. And all that's been turning out to be a sham, by the way, and that's a different video for a different day. But Trump wants to expand the laws in this country. Now, in Great Britain, they used to have strong libel laws. That's how Melania Trump won her lawsuit when that Sun magazine, whoever it was in England, kept calling her an escort. But without Donald Trump, she sued him on her own, and she won. They had to give her an ungodly amount of money, and she wanted to send it to charity. So that's what happened, and I think that the company was filed for bankruptcy or whatever they have in the United Kingdom. So that's what Trump's after. He wants to strengthen the laws in this country to keep these people from doing their lies and destruction. So the lies stick and people won't get off the lie. That's very damaging. In all aspects of life and throughout human history, the recording of lies, they can be very, very dangerous because they are very powerful because people want to believe them. Now we're going to go over some memes. Gary Varvel, September 22nd, his cartoons got, on second thought, price control is a bad idea. These people shaped in the form of comments that are free bread. It was a bad idea. I can't believe people are going to fall for this crap about she's going to punish the grocery stores for high prices. Well, it's not they got the slimmest of margins of any major business I can think of. Grocery stores are famous for having what they call lost leaders or expired items and quick sales just to get rid of stuff. I mean, they've already lost money on the item. They're just trying to keep their cash flow going when they have lost. And I do it for my eBay business. Lost leaders, it's part of business. The last president I can remember doing wage and price control was Richard Nixon. I think it was 1971. I mean, when he got us off the gold standard because we essentially ran out of money. I'm being diplomatic about it. Kamala Harris doesn't know enough to say anything about wage and price control. She says, "Oh, I'm going to lower the price of bread. I'm going to lower the price of groceries. I'm going to make them stop raising the price. I'm going to make them lower the price." You can't force a business to give up their equity. You can't. And she's all about equity, isn't she? I think a fifth grader come up with a better economic plan than making the stores lower their prices and lose money on everything they buy. Well, what's going to happen to the stores if that were to happen? What would happen? Guess what? All the stores would close up. And then you'd have shortages like you've never seen before, even worse than the Great Depression. Is that what you want? Next cartoon. And the lady's asking Kamala, as a voter, I'd like to know your position on abortion. She says, I think it should be legal pretty much anytime, anywhere. And that is her stance. Then the reporter asked her, and what about the safe and rare? Kamala's response is, that's my position on press conferences. I mean, I think it's a pretty good cartoon. And I like that. Oh, here we go. Gary Varvel again. It's got walls. I'm a knucklehead with his gas. There's been some serious allegations of what he did when he was in his 30s. And he had just got fired from his assistant coach position. And it was a 6-0 unanimous decision by the school board to get rid of him. I think a couple of them survived with like a 4-2 vote or a 3-2-1 vote, one abstain, whatever. And that was the guy's relative. He was the only one that was 6-0 unanimous. He's got to go. He was the worst of the coaches that they had to get rid of. We got a cartoon here. Mail reporters asking Kamala, you want to control what kind of cars we drive, what kind of stoves we cook on, what our kids can tell us about school. You're turning the country into a nanny state. And then behind everybody, there's someone saying nanny, it's Mr. Emhoff. Comes up. I had heard something about that before when she was running back in 2019 when she opened for a campaign to run for president. And I want to say this, I got a minute left on my video here. Okay, there was 8 candidates for the Democratic nomination in California, the state I'm in right now, and it's the biggest state with the most superdelegates and delegates, okay? The Democrats have a system different than Republicans. The superdelegates can somehow trump out, or pun intended, trump out. They can knock off the regular delegates, and that way they can sneak in the candidate that they really want to put in there, that the DNC has decided that's who they really want. To hell with the voters, just like they did a couple months ago when they got rid of Joe Biden. And if I got time, I'll talk about that. I heard bits about this thing about the nanny with Emhoff before, but they squashed it pretty quick. And why I'm bringing this up, that she was the only candidate from California. Okay, she got 0 delegates. Okay, Amy Klobuchar of Minnesota got 2. Tulsi Gabbard of Hawaii, she got 7. And I think Buttigieg and Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden, they got 30, 40, 50. It was competitive between those 3. And Buttigieg got the gay vote, of course. But I do remember Kamala got 0. She's from California. That's when she ended her campaign because the donors said, we're not going to give you any more money. And that's when it came up about this Emhoff guy. And I remember hearing about it, but it didn't stay in the news cycle no more than a day. And then lo and behold, this other lady comes out. He smacked her in the face at this Cannes Film Festival, whatever year it was, 20 years ago, 18 years, whatever it was. It turned out that he wound up giving her $80,000 non-disclosure payment settlement. And she took the money, but she's willing to give it back now, or so I'm being told. I just can't believe this. People are saying, well, they're just coming out now because, Kamala might win the presidency. Well, you know what? What happened to Donald Trump when he ran for president? Didn't every girl and playmate and this one and that one come out of the woodwork? I mean, that's what happens. That's politics for you. They see easy money. They see payouts. And they're going to write you a couple $100,000 check just to get rid of you, like Donald Trump did to Stormy Daniels. Cohen wrote her a check to get rid of her. And then he admitted that Trump didn't know anything about it. but he's still getting blamed for it because Cohen did work for Trump. I get it. And Stormy Daniels gets on Inside Edition and says, well, I'm angry at him that we didn't have sex, but we were supposed to. He kept saying he wanted me and my beauty and show up at this hotel at his Trump Tower and then he wasn't there. You know, she was angry that she missed her big payday. That's what the Stormy Daniels all about. And I don't care if they had sex or not. That was 30 years ago. I mean, he was nowhere near the Oval Office. He was only talking about it on Oprah. And he was on Oprah, what, 6 times, 7 times, whatever it was. And he kept saying, well, I wouldn't rule it out, but I don't like what's happening to my country. I'm going to get those videos from Oprah. And they were great friends until Trump ran as a Republican. Then Oprah has never talked to him ever again. And Trump was miffed, but he was upset about that. So Trump learned a very valuable lesson. He's learned a lesson that we all should learn. That when you're on for revolution like Oprah and these other clowns are, there is no redeeming them. They're the Draculas that's been bitten by the Marxist, communist, socialist Kool-Aid. Like in the movie Dracula. Oh. The only way you can get rid of the Dracula is to kill it. Because they cannot be cured. My timer went off. I got plenty of material to work with here. Go Trump 2024. You got to win this election, Trump. You can't let this Marxist get in here. You can't. You got to stop it somehow. And I'm gonna make another video. I was telling one of my coworkers the other day. I made a video earlier about if Joe Biden had won, gas is going to go over $8 a gallon. Well, guess what it did? It did in Oregon and California and other parts of the country. I understand back east, like in Massachusetts, it did get to $8 a gallon. I paid it. I know. So don't tell me I'm a liar. Don't do this thing that these pregame.com clowns do. Dismiss me. I paid the eight something a gallon. My daughter paid $10 a gallon because she has to have super unleaded for the stupid car she's got. And she paid $10 a gallon when she was doing a seminar in the Bay Area. And that was enough of that. Yeah, it finally, got meandered down to what it is now. It's just gone up like 30 cents the last 2 weeks. And it's going to, even though they've got an election coming up, our good friend Joe Biden, he depleted the strategic reserves that Trump made sure it was full the day he took office, which tells me that Obama had it half empty. But that's okay. No one wants to blame Obama for anything. They want to blame Trump for everything that's not good. They'll never give Trump any credit. But I want to make another video. If Kamala wins here, if her and that Tim Walz gets in the Oval Office, man, this country's doomed. And gas is going to go to $12 a gallon or $13 because she's going to put that Green New Deal 3.0 on steroids. Not 2.0. It's going to be Green New Deal 3.0 on steroids. She's just going to ram it through. She doesn't think what she does. She's worse than Trump in that respect. At least Trump thinks about it. And Trump's policies are sound, but her policies, well, she has no real good policy. She's running on her minority status and her female. She's trying to pretend she's black and she's not black. But I don't really care if she's black or not. And she's just a horrible candidate. I mean, look at Hillary. Hillary was white. You'd have to put the gun in my head, you'd shoot me. I would never vote for Hillary Clinton. I would never vote for Kamala Harris or Tim Walz or Tim Kaine, that fag she picked from Virginia, that senator that lets his wife go alone to these swinger parties. But my timer went off. I've said enough. Thank you for watching. You got to vote for Donald Trump. Vote for your country. We're not voting for the man Trump. I mean, I don't really like him all that much. I mean, I think he's got a big mouth, and I hate Taylor Swift. He should have never said. You should don't piss off them young girls. If they turn 18, they're going to vote against you, man. Why would you do that? Okay, I would never do that. I wish Trump would hire me as his political advisor and strategist, because I would advise him, Mr. Trump, Mr. President, sir, don't say it like this. Just ignore her. Just say good things about her, and then she'll just try to ignore you. I'll have a way of wording it, even though I don't do it myself. But for something that's important, I can do it. He should hire me as political advisor, but he wouldn't give me the time of day. Thank you, viewers. Thank you, everybody. Stay tuned for the next video.